Welcome to the Penny Stock and Cryptocurrency Survival Guide. Before we get into the class itself, I want to give you a little bit of context. The class I put together several years ago, but the key thing here is that the class is about emotions and psychology. And with emotions and psychology, because we're human beings, they've always been around and they will always be around. So what you learn about has been valuable, still is valuable, and will be valuable in the future because we're humans. We're always going to have anger, greed, overconfidence, sorrow, freaking out. All those things have always been around and will always be around. And the key is when you understand those dynamics, as cruel and mean as it sounds, you can leverage those dynamics against other people. If you understand how other people are feeling, how other people are viewing different circumstances, then like I said, you can leverage that to put profit in your pocket. Yes, that sounds mean, but that's how the financial markets work. It's understanding how other people are feeling and believing and then using that to your advantage. The other note is that this course is based around penny stocks, but please realize this for you crypto traders. Anytime I say the word penny stock, you realize that you can and should replace that with a cryptocurrency. Anytime I'm talking about an exact penny stock, please realize you can and should insert in any sort of coin that you may be looking at, because the emotions and psychology is a perfect parallel between penny stocks and cryptocurrency markets. And it's a way that you need to go into surviving penny stock trading, crypto trading, or maybe you're going to do both. But you better understand how what I call the wilderness works, because if you can understand the wilderness, you're going to give yourself a way better opportunity to make money as a whole. So let's go to my desktop and let's get into the class.
All right, in this one, we are going to talk about some reality. We are going back down to Earth. Lots of people out there are pretty spacey and living on other planets when it comes to penny stocks. So we are going to talk about penny stock reality and have a reality check. Maybe it's going to be a reality check for you. Maybe I'm already going to be talking about some things that you understand. But point being, we need to all get on the same page, and it starts right now. So, you know everything that we just talked about in that previous video, I think about 20 minutes worth of stuff. None of that stuff matters, at least in the traditional sense. So, doesn't matter. This is not the Dow Jones. This is not the S&P 500. This is not the NASDAQ. These aren't blue chip companies. None of that stuff matters. This is the penny stock market. This is the penny stock wilderness. None of that matters. So I need you to get that through your head right now, that all that fundamental stuff we talked about, none of it matters. Now, it matters in a different type of way, but not in the way that you thought it would have mattered in terms of the traditional sense. So I just want to get that all out of the way. Wasn't necessarily a waste of your time because it still does matter, but it's not going to matter in the way that we're talking about. Real quick example, market cap. Who cares what these market caps are? There's too many people that run around talking about penny stocks and their market caps. That doesn't matter. Sure, it's nice to know what a market cap is, and it'll be good to know how that benefits us. However, at the end of the day, market cap for a penny stock does not matter. Okay, it's time for some common sense. I want you to ask yourself this. If these companies and management teams are legitimate, why is their stock trading for pennies on the dollar, sometimes even less, with those sub pennies? And the answer is they're all pure trash. Penny stocks are trash. Okay, I want to say that again. Penny stocks are trash. Again, if the companies and all that stuff were so legit, so good, so promising, having so much potential, then why are they trading for pennies on the dollar, way down low, in oblivion? The answer is because there's trash. They are trash. Everything about them is trash. The penny stock wilderness is filled with trash. Now, maybe I've just offended you. What is going on with this course? I thought I was going to learn how to survive, and all of a sudden this guy's starting to yell at me. And we're hanging out. Remember, I get passionate about what I'm talking about, and this is something that I'm very passionate about because I get sick and tired of seeing so many people running around treating penny stocks like there's some, like you can apply the traditional means to them. They're not. They're pieces of garbage. So let's talk about some reasons for being a penny. Maybe you need more convincing. If you do, that's totally understandable. Who knows? I may have you totally caught off guard right now. So let's just talk. Why are these stocks trading for a penny? Well, the three reasons, and these are the three core reasons that these are just pieces of garbage, is one, management. Management is either stupid or they're unprepared. Sometimes it is stupidity because they are unprepared, but management, we're not talking about Fortune 500 CEOs here, folks. I want you to get that cleared right now. If these people were worth anything, they would be snapped up by much bigger companies, Fortune 500, Fortune 50. The big dogs would come and get them if they were worth anything. So that's reason number two, or reason number one. Maybe I should be a penny stock manager. I can't even count. Anyways, reason number two, business building. It's just not easy in general. Majority fail. Whether we're talking about, just any sort of business in general is not easy to do. It's very hard to do. So that's just reason number 2. Reason number 3 is the share selling business model, plan, pump and dump. So these ones are the core culprits, the core reasoning for these stocks being pieces of garbage. 1 and 2 more often times than not, but those go hand in hand. So we'll talk more about each one of these points, but just know that management, business in general is hard, and then a lot of these companies are just selling shares for the sake of selling shares, and there are a lot of planned pump and dumps out there. I've already touched on this. Now, some management teams, they really do have your best intentions at heart. They want to build shareholder value. They want the share price to go up because that's how shareholder value is, established. They're trying to create jobs. I mean, they are like a knight in shining armor. Their intentions truly are good. They want to succeed. They don't want to, scam anybody over. They want to do a good job for their shareholders. I mean, there's management teams out there that truly are like that. However, they're just not that smart. I mean, like I said, this is not Google. This is not McDonald's. And I don't mean the McDonald's where you're flipping burgers. I'm talking about McDonald's corporate, the billion-dollar company. This is not those companies. Like I said, if these management people were that good, they'd be snapped up and well within the corporate chain of some of these, mega monsters. So it's just not that, they're just not smart. And that leads into sometimes their stupidity brings about getting taken advantage of, being unprepared, not understanding what's going on. Now, financiers, right here, many of the time, these are the people that are behind the scenes, and management takes all the blame. And yes, management deserves some blame because they're idiots, but the loan sharks, or the financiers as they're called, they're the ones who are, setting up these companies where they're just bloated, and, the debt just mounts up, and it's just not a pretty sight. Now, it's good for the financiers because they're getting very good deals, and we'll talk more about that later, but it's bad for the shareholder, and it's bad for the company too in terms of the management. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with the CEO and management team. So yeah, maybe they got bamboozled and tricked by these financiers, but at the end of the day, doesn't matter. The CEO's got to be prepared, and a lot of these CEOs and management teams just don't understand what's going on, and they're taken advantage of. Not an excuse, but at the end of the day, management is just not a strong suit of a penny stock company. Maybe I'm offending you right now because maybe you're looking at a company saying, what are you talking about? This management team is, blah, blah, blah. This guy has this experience. All I'm going to say is penny stock history speaks for itself, and I'll just end with, if this guy is so good, why isn't he up in the corporate chain of some mega monster? So look, at some point, people aren't going to be convinced, and we'll get to, maybe what kind of poster you are right now, but just, you'll learn over time. Management is not something that, penny stocks are able to brag about in terms of, what they're strong or what they're known for in a positive type of way. Now, point number 2, business is just hard. Now, statistics show you, and, feel free to, once again, to use those search engines, whatever year you're watching this in, put in that year and then type, business success rates. And keep in mind that a lot of these businesses that are failing are well-funded. That's a huge word there. A lot of the businesses that are failing are well-funded, but yet they still fail. Okay, so it's time for some more common sense. So knowing that a lot of well-funded businesses, startups, fail, what do you think is going to happen when these businesses are already loaded down in debt? They have all sorts of funny financing structure out there where there's discounted shares. Once again, going back to those loan sharks and financiers, there's all sorts of confusing, complex loans and share structure deals in place. What do you think is going to happen to those companies? Do you think that they have better success than what the well-funded companies are going to succeed have? I don't think so. And the biggest failure of all this is debt, as I've already talked about. When a company has no money, in other words, cash flow, their only option, let me take a step back. When they only have positive cash flow, which means they have a profit, there's only one way to survive, and that's to raise their cash by selling more shares. Who wants a piece of pizza? We all know pizza slice dilution, that's the name of the game. Now again, I'll go back and reiterate, not all penny stock CEOs are doing this so they can line their pockets. Some of them need to make payroll. Some of them want to invest in some marketing. Point being, motivation at the end of the day doesn't care. If they're diluting, they're diluting. Who cares why? For us as traders, We just care about that there's diluting going on, and debt is the core driver of that. People or companies could be making money, but when the majority of that goes to pay the debt or pay the interest on the debt or whatever, that just sucks and siphons all the money right out of the business. No cash flow. So now how am I going to pay my secretary? How am I going to pay my workers? How am I going to pay for this, that, and how am I going to pay for a stapler? My papers are all over my desk. None of them are stapled together. How am I going to pay for the stapler? Well, I guess I'm going to have to sell some shares and dilute, the outstanding shares. So it goes back again, who wants some pizza? And then the stereotypical penny stock company out there, stereotypical, I should say, for something that's been around for a while, but it is still a misconception because, again, some management teams really do want to try, but they just get stuck in the penny stock cycle, which we'll talk about in a future presentation. But anyways, some management teams out there are just straight up, all right, boys, we need to sell some shares. We need to get this price up as high as possible. And that's what their personal interest is. That's just what they want to do. And this team is usually a CEO, some lawyers, some brokers, and an accountant. That's not the recipe every single time, but there's always going to be a front man. I mean, there's somebody that's got to represent the company, so that's the CEO. And then usually the people that are pulling the strings are the lawyers and the accountants and stuff like that are putting together these complex things, filing. Point being, it's sketchy, it's shady, and while not all companies are like this, some of them, this is what it's all about. We just want to sell shares. There is no product, there's just plans. So whether it's mining, battery, solar, what's hot, what can we get out there, and then just sell plans of. Example, when gold was popular, we have plans to develop, this mining out in, the Arizona desert or something, or we have plans, when solar was popular, to purchase owning stake in, this little solar field, or who knows what. I mean, there's so many things out there, but a lot of times whatever's hot, that's what everybody's jumping on. It's just, jump on the bandwagon. For you sports fans, you know how that goes. When the Yankees are, hot and on top of the world, seems like a lot of Yankees hats comes out. I mean, it's just one of those things where whatever's popular, that's what people are getting on. And then at the end of the day, the only product that these people have to sell is shares themselves. Yeah, a lot of plans, a lot of hoopla, a lot of hype, but there is no product. There is no, mining field out in the Arizona desert. There is no solar factory. It's just shares. This is what I want to sell, shares, and a lot of people fall for it. Sometimes the management teams have no control over it because it is the financiers. So again, I don't mean to come across like you've heard my theory on, not theory, you've heard what I've talked about management. So yes, I am sticking up for management in some sense, but they're still stupid for getting taken advantage of. But sometimes it's just the financiers. They are the ones that own a bunch of shares at massive discounts from where they, loan the company money. Very complex, but all you want to know, and the point being, financiers sometimes have a bunch of shares, and what they paid for the shares are massively less than what the current share price is. And they're just the ones that are going to start to sell shares and dump all over the place. Sometimes they can hold management hostage saying, hey, this is the deal, this is what we're going to do, or we're going to crush your stock. So lots of drama, even on the management side and, within the world of penny stocks, all sorts of drama. And it's not just, for traders. A lot of behind the scenes stuff goes on too. Now, everything that we've talked about, it doesn't matter which one's going on. It could be a combination. It might just be one single one. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, all pass sound like this. Everybody thinks that they're going to the Oz, Rainbow, the Emerald City, the Golden Brick Road. That's what all these companies sound like. That's what people, they're the visions that they have. But in all reality, it leads to this right here. They're all pieces of garbage. They're trash. I mean, if you put like a dump down here with maybe like some seagulls or something flying over it, some just rotten food, just, maybe some like little hair. Like this is trash. So these are the vapors from all the smells coming up. This is just a trash heap right here. That's what's really going on here. It's, the Golden Brick Road to, the dump. That's what the penny market is. That's what the penny stock wilderness always leads to. So what matters where the path ends, as we've just talked about. A company that is loaded down in debt, a company that will soon be loaded down in debt. Remember, those financiers, if they work something, it's going to look good to the CEO at the beginning, but who knows what's coming around the corner. Those type of companies are going to be forced to raise more cash because even if they are having revenue, a lot of that revenue is going to pay for that debt, pay the interest, all that other stuff. And then, hey, who wants some pizza? Here comes the dilution. Whether or not the CEO wants to do it, maybe he does because he's just trying to sell shares the whole time, or other times he doesn't want to do it, but he has no other choice. That's just the way it goes. Motivation, yeah, it's kind of nice to know that way, is this guy a jerk or is he honestly trying? But at the end of the day, who cares? Bottom line, the path ends at a big pile of stinking trash. That's what penny stocks are. I have some great news though. I have just been trashing it. You're probably like, what am I doing? Why did I purchase this course? This person is now telling me that what I'm trying to learn how to do is just all garbage. Well, here we go. There is cash for trash. We're not talking about recycling here. We're just talking about penny stocks still. Even though they're all piles of garbage, just stinky piles of trash, there is still money to be made. However, long-term success in penny stocks has nothing to do with the companies or anything we discussed in the previous video. Yeah, knowing what a market cap is important. Yeah, knowing what those other things are is important, but none of that matters when it comes to penny stocks. Cash for trash, that stuff has no place. The people that survive in the world of penny stocks understand that psychology and emotion are the only aspects that matter. That's why, going back to the introduction video, I talked about how this whole course is all about frame of reference, mindset, psychology, because when you understand this stuff, those are the aspects that matter in the penny stock wilderness. Those are the aspects where when you understand them, sure, you're still not going to play things flawlessly, but you're going to keep yourself from getting brainwashed, and as you'll see later on, becoming hypnotized, and then it's game over from there. So yes, these are trash. Yes, I want you to look at them all as trash, but I also want you to keep in mind that there is cash for trash, and that's the name of the game when it comes to the penny stock market. And believe it or not, the penny stock market, the penny stock wilderness, it all boils down to one word: belief. That's it, belief. Not market cap, not market makers, not shorting, not manipulation, not the CEO's got a great background, not, hey, look, they have revenues, hey, not, look, a reverse merger's coming. Belief. That's it. The whole penny stock market boils down to belief, and that is all. And this picture here sums it up perfectly. Beliefs, behaviors, results. And that's what we want, results for us as traders. We want more money than we started with. We want profits. So again, this slide is probably one of the most important, and not probably, it is one of the most important. I was thinking, is it the most important? Maybe, but it's definitely one of the most important. This word summarizes all of penny stock world, all of the wilderness. Belief. That's all it boils down to at the end of the day. Nothing else, nothing fancy, just a belief. That's all that matters. Now, keeping that picture in mind, let's work backwards from there. So remember, results, we want profits. The point of the stock market is to make money, right? The ultimate result we want is to leave with more money than we started with. Pretty straightforward. Now, behavior. The way we want the market or the majority of people to act, that's the behavior. That's what we're talking about when I say that. When people behave a certain way, it can become predictable. And that is what will give us the results we are looking for. So when people behave in a certain way, which they do because it's human emotion, it's human psychology, people are very predictable because emotions are very predictable. There'd be no such thing as a psychology major if people didn't act in a predictable way. Psychologists would not have a job because they wouldn't be able to help anybody. If everybody acted randomly, there would be no job market for it. But there's a very big job market for it because people are predictable. Maybe not people, but people's emotions are predictable. And when people behave in a certain way and we can predict that, that's going to give us the results we're looking for. And what are those results? Say it with me now: profits. Now, belief, the driving force to profits and penny stock survival. That's what it's all about. Now, keep in mind, this is crucial. It's not what we believe, but what the market believes. I want you to say that again with me. It's not what we believe, but what the market believes. Say that with me one more time. It is not what we believe, but it's what the market believes. That's what we care about. When people believe in something, they're going to behave in a certain way, which is going to give us the results we desire. Again, it doesn't matter what we believe, but when the general market, meaning the mass majority of people, believe in something, because we know what that something is, that's going to give us a predictable way of how they behave. And when we know how they're going to behave, we can then take advantage of that to give us the results that we want, which are profits. Maybe that sounds like kind of manipulation, but that's the manipulation that happens in the penny stock market from people that understand the emotion and know how to play on the emotion. That's how you trade penny stocks right there. So it's none of this market maker manipulation and any of these other excuses that you hear. The only manipulating going on is from one trader to another. And it really boils down to, do you want to be manipulating things, or do you want to be the one being manipulated? I'll leave that up to you, but if you want to survive, you got to know what's going on. You got to know what's occurring from the psychological aspect of the market. So that brings up the next question. What are you believing in? And be honest with yourself. If you're still sitting here right now and you believe in everything that we discussed in that prior video lesson, then you are a sucker. You are what people make money off of. Maybe that's brutal, but I have a job to convince you and try to change you from your suckerish ways. I don't know if that's a word. Now, if you're not a sucker and you're like, no, that's good, it's fine. If you're thinking, wait, why are you telling all these people this? You're going to convert all the suckers into understanding. No worries about that. There's a new one born every minute. There's always suckers coming in. And as we'll see as we continue to go through the course, as hunters and within the penny stock wilderness, the food source are these investors. These are the people that believe that market caps matter. They believe that such and such CEO has this sort of background, so therefore this company's going to succeed. Forget about the whole massive debt problem. It's just because of the investor, or it's just because of the CEO's background. Those people are the food source. Those are the people that we eat as hunters. We'll get more in that in a minute. Or do you believe in belief itself? Again, crucial statement. Write this down, highlight it, do something. If you believe in belief itself, then you understand the mindset and you understand how things work in terms of the perspective we have to have. These are the people that make money consistently. These are the people who need some seals. These are the people that you could refer to as sharks, I suppose. That's why I put seals. Sharks eat seals, and we need them, but that goes up to right here. There's a seal born every minute, so no big deal. Bottom line, they are our food source. That's what we want. We are the hunters. We are traders. We are not investors. That's my goal. That's what I'm going to drive home if I haven't done that yet. Hopefully you're on board. If you are, awesome. If not, don't worry. I'm going to keep on convincing you here. But just know that believing in belief itself, that's what we want to believe in. We don't want to believe in a company's financials. We don't want to believe in a CEO's background. We don't want to believe in the upcoming merger that's going to happen, or we don't want to believe in, this sector is hot. That's all garbage. These are penny stock companies. They're all garbage. We just need to believe in belief itself and see where the belief's at. That way we can exploit all those emotions. Remember, behaviors are predictable, and when we get the behaviors we want, that's going to give us the results we want. All right, we have some math time, and this slide is, again, one of the most important in the entire course. So write this equation down, although you will see this equation many more times. The penny stock equation. This is nothing complicated. We're not looking at calculus here or anything like that. And hey, it doesn't even have any numbers in it because it's all a psychological equation. The people that survive, the traders and hunters in the penny stock wilderness, are the ones that understand that this equation is what everything boils down to. This is what it's all about right here. When belief is greater than reality, that equals opportunity. No matter how debt-ridden, sleazy, poorly managed a company is, if the suckers, remember that's our food source, believe it to be true, there is money to be made. So who cares about the companies? Who cares about this? Who cares about that? Who cares about the CEO? He came from this, or this guy's a scumbag, or look at all that debt. If there's enough people that can push the belief greater than the reality of the situation, then that is opportunity, and that is what we want as traders. So again, write this equation down, and if you need to really stop and think about it, the reality of these situations is they're all pieces of trash, but trash for cash. If the belief is greater than the reality, then that's where we make our money. If the belief's not greater than the reality, well, then things are going to get ugly. But there's instances all the time of piece of crap penny stock companies moving in price, and they're garbage. I mean, all you got to do is look at a filing. But hey, the belief is just overwhelming the reality of the situation, and these prices run, and that's the beauty of cash for trash. Now, I already touched on this a little bit, but I really want to drive this point home. So we just talked about the penny stock equation. Now let's talk about the penny stock emotion scale. Now, the more weight belief has, the higher in the sky and harder to see. Remember, higher up in the sky, that makes it hard to see. Reality rises. So the more belief, the more excitement, the more hype, the more pumping, all that stuff that a particular stock has, the higher up in the sky reality goes. It becomes harder to see, and then belief just becomes that much more strong. Now, at some point, reality is going to sink back in, but for how long that takes, who knows? But again, the more weight, so the more of excitement, the more hype, the more just this, that, and the other, then this is going to weigh this down, push this reality up into the sky. That's going to become even more harder to see, and then the belief is just going to reign. It's going to be just perfect. It's going to be what we want. So remember the scale. The more belief that something has, the harder reality is going to be to see. Human emotions, people block out what's bad, especially when they just see the price going up, which is, their sense of false delusion that their quote unquote investment is working. And we're going to be there that whole time, keeping our eye on this scale, keeping our eye on the equation, and just monitoring. Hey, as long as belief is greater than reality, we are going to be interested. But if it's not, then see you later, because the opportunities are gone. Now remember, we're hanging out, we're just chilling, having a good time, having a normal conversation. So this is the point where I look you in the eyes and say, look, man, or woman, look, friend, there we go. Look, friend, hunters eat food, all right? That's the reality of the situation. You can either stop with the course right now, you can stop with this conversation, we can stop hanging out because you think I'm full of crap and be a food source, or you can learn to understand that all the dynamics of the penny stock market and how they affect belief, and how we can use that to protect ourselves and profit from it, which is called being a hunter. So again, the point of the course and what we're at now is we understand that belief, that's the name of the game. It's all belief. However, there's all sorts of other dynamics in the penny stock market that affect this belief. So however belief is affected, that's going to dictate how stocks act themselves. So when we know what's going on, what dynamics exist, how these dynamics can affect the belief, we're going to be able to do a better job of forecasting emotion, forecasting belief itself, and be able to monitor whether or not reality is starting to creep up to become outweigh all the excitement and all of the things that we want to see keep going, which is the hype, which is all the all the belief. There's a word I was looking for. Belief is what we want to monitor. Now it's a point of, well, what can affect the belief? What are all these areas? What are these dynamics? What are the potential pitfalls that belief can fall into that's going to alter reality and bring reality back to the forefront? Because remember, we don't want reality anywhere near the forefront, because reality is these things are all garbage. So if reality starts to creep its head up, we don't need to get scared, as we'll learn. However, we need to be on our toes and just always monitoring for when reality really starts to peek its head up. So again, get on board. If you're not on board, you're going to see that at the end of the day, all we want to measure is belief. We don't want reality anywhere close to the surface, because that's what's going to eliminate the opportunity. So let's keep on moving.
Well, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please do a couple things for me. Hit that like button and leave a comment below, even if you just say thanks. Also, go to claytrader.com/team, and if you want to join my private community that's got all sorts of added benefits, you can learn more at that link, then please join. I'd love to have you. It's very cost effective, and like I said, if you want to surround yourself with other quality, like-minded people such as yourself, then I hope you give it some consideration. But again, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and leave a comment down below.